Almost there. Yes. Live YouTube, and a couple of minutes will also be on the platform. Yes. So, welcome everyone to the last session of the day, a very inspiring day with many inclusive speakers, companies, people joining us to share their experience. We have with us today, I can hear you. Welcome everyone to the last session of the, I hear myself.
Yeah, that's a strange echo.
Exactly. So we have with us here the collaboration, the regional collaboration between Holland Expat Center, Brainport Development, and the Living In program, which makes it possible to have this kind of an environment in Eindhoven and beyond, where internationalization, inclusion and diversity, dual career can be such a central topic. So we are very excited. I'm as representing me and the team from Expat Spouses Initiative. We are very excited that what has been possible today, but also in the last 9 to 10 months, the pandemic months, which otherwise would have been quite could have been quite sober. We actually managed to mobilize the internationalization conversation along with Living In program, and quite strongly thanks to this kind of intent top down. So on that note, we want to close the session today, imagining what the future looks like, imagining all these efforts and initiatives and programs that have been breeding in this area. Where does this lead to? So I welcome to the conversation Richard Kester, Senior Program Manager, Brainport Development, Krista Prince, Managing Director, Holland Expat Center South, and of course, Ed Hirschkap, who I work with literally every day, the Program Coordinator of Living In program. Welcome all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
nice to be here.
Yes. So are you enjoying the day so far?
Yeah, I am. I've joined a few sessions, and I thought the different conversations were very insightful, and thereover the conversation, the chats was very amusing as well, and very informative. So yeah, I've enjoyed it very much. Thanks.
And you can see Eindhoven reflected in many of the topics, the spirit of Eindhoven reflected in many of the topics that were discussed today. Mm-hmm. And that's what I would like to start our conversation with. What does inclusion and diversity mean for all of you personally, but also specifically in this region, which has a DNA of collaboration, DNA of inclusion? And how does your organization, the work that you do every day, help you add to that? And I'll maybe start with Ed.
For me, Kavita, next Monday it will be 5 years in this role, and I can say it's the 5 most inspiring years of my career, because I'm able to make a difference. Of course we have a conversation on a daily basis together, but also with other internationals. And the main thing that I like in our collaboration is that we can really change the lives of the people that we are working for. I have an example. Of course, we initiated the Women for Women project, and I had 2 conversations during those 5 editions. And one of them was one of the talents who said, before I could get into the project and get into the trajectory, I was a grumpy wife. I was a grumpy mother. And the fact that I got new perspective out of the fact that I was working towards a new perspective and career and possibility together with a local mentor, changed my life, changed it all. And the second example is someone who came from Canada, was initially from Iran. And she said, don't underestimate the idea that a government really welcomes us as spouses, and acknowledges the fact that we are also talents and not something who is really trailing the first hire, but is also possibly contributing to the ecosystem. So inspiring when you talk about inclusion and diversity in my role, and in my job description, there is something very interesting because I can accelerate and I can connect. And I think that working together with the target audience itself, in this case, of course, ESI, we are able to create the movement. We have heard it several times today. It's a movement, it's a mission instead of a job. And so many people relate to that. So for me, it's a very rewarding type of work, because you can, on a daily basis, you can see the impact of what you're doing.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you say, and the impact that you see is very rewarding. And I think that that's something that I'm sure Chris can relate with as well, because with the Holland Expat Center, you are in contact with internationals so much, and you are an international yourself. So
Yeah.
a bit of a role reversal. You're enabling the environment here as an international.
Yeah, I was planning to share with you my experiences as a Belgian in the Netherlands for about 20 years now. But actually, I heard during this day, I heard a figure of speech used by Astrid Balsink from Philips about what diversity and inclusion is about, and she quoted somebody saying diversity is being invited to the party, inclusion is invited to dance, and a successful inclusion would be like dancing like they're, no one's watching. So I would say that the Expert Center is the party that and the partner in this region that is trying to make sure that the venue is booked, that the DJ is behind the booth, that the music is on, the lights are on, that the bar is open, that people are opening up to you, and that the only thing that you have to do as an international is dance like they're, no one is watching. Meaning that as the Expert Center, we are trying to make all the settings right. So we arrange for your formalities. We arrange for you for information to come to you in various ways on different topics like housing, work, education, healthcare, and we introduce you to the community. And that's what we do. We set we hope to set the settings right for you to be able to be part of an inclusive community. I think that's our contribution.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic analogy. And it also says that you're ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
So what's
partying at home? For that matter, but,
9 o'clock curfew as well, I guess.
Yeah.
What's your role in the party, Richard?
Yeah. Where Chris and Ed are working very hard on making it possible for people to dance here in our region. On a daily basis, I invite people to come and dance in Brainport. I send out the invitations to the rest of the world. If you want to have a great dance, come to the Brainport Eindhoven region.
Yeah.
Actually, with Brainport development for the past 10 years, we've been working on attracting international tech and IT talent to the region. And for me, as project manager of the Brainport Talent Attraction Program, I'm doing that for 5 years now. And in those, say in the 10 years or the past 5 years, I see that the region has developed into an international community, actually. So I'm very happy that from Brainport Development, from our point of view, we can contribute to that development and see that the region is becoming more international, and more people are coming to dance in our region and contribute to the inclusive society we are.
Yeah.
And I like that very much. And that's on a regional level. What we're working with Brainport Development on, and what I also like is also on a more micro personal level. I see that people that are coming in are amazed by what's going on here and what's possible in our region. Small example: we also run in our talent attraction program a traineeship program where graduates or nearly graduates in tech and IT from Spain and Italy are coming to our region to have a traineeship for half a year in a company in our region. And we're organizing a program and doing the matching. We're in contact with the candidates, and every time when trainees are coming in, we have like an introduction program for them. And every time in that introduction program, Ed is always there also. I tell the trainees that are coming in, the group of new Spanish or Italian technicians that are coming to Brainport. When you come here and you go to work in a company, you have to ask questions. You have to share your ideas, and you have to stand up for your ideas. And actually, the companies are expecting that of you. So if you want to have the perfect learning experience, if you want to dance here, in the analogy, you have to, it's allowed to speak up. And they looked very troubled, and to me at that meeting, what's he talking about? After 6 months, when we talked to them again, they tell me, my opinion matters here in the company and in the region. Of course, the Netherlands is about culture, and now I feel included. And every time that gives me goosebumps. I think that's what we're doing here. That's what we're working on. So yeah.
I love the dance metaphor for the closing session.
Yeah.
So, going by that, I guess all that internationals have to do is just join the party and dance.
Yeah. And everybody's invited.
Exactly. But that kind of brings to the topic of today, right? Inclusion itself. Is it that easy? I mean, what are the challenges you see? Let's say Brainport works a lot with companies, and what are the challenges that you see companies who should be engaging internationals more, engaging women more, engaging local talent more? What are the challenges you see, and what's Brainport's role there, you think?
Yeah. Because there are challenges. That's exactly the reason why in our talent instruction program we also have an important part of the program is on supporting companies, and especially SME companies, on how to start with international talent instruction or how to improve it. And that's more than how do I attract the talent. And I like it very much that we work closely together with the Expat Center on this, and when we talk about talent attraction and retention with companies, and the challenges we face is that it's about awareness. Most of the time, companies, they start with international recruitment or international talent attraction based on a shortage of talent in their companies and with vacancies. And they say, okay, I attract somebody from Spain or the US or whatever, and then that's okay. And we tell them, and that's about creating awareness. Talent attraction and retention is not about sending out a vacancy in English and then everything is okay. That is about also your working culture and about and that's the great job Ed and you're doing. It's about also making the where you not only get that first hire in your company, but it's about also the family and everything. Yeah. And it's that awareness that's lacking with a lot of companies. That's not that they don't want to, but they don't have experience with this topic because they start from the shortage part, the talent shortage part, and not by who am I going to attract in my company. So that's I think an important part of our job is making companies aware of how to dance again.
Exactly. I mean that's inclusion as a topic. The importance of the topic is becoming more and more apparent, and I think Brainport does a great job putting it on the agenda, making sure that it's on top of people's mind. And like you said, it's not just about having an English vacancy. It was discussed a few times in today's sessions that it's about company culture really, and that's a process. Exactly. Mindset, it's about the collective, and it needs continuous reinforcement. But nevertheless, it's very important, like we saw especially in the pandemic months, inclusion as a topic towards internationals was extremely critical in making sure internationals don't feel alone. And Holland Expat Center actually played a very critical role in that, in making sure internationals felt still at home when things were not going as nicely as they should.
Yeah, I guess we in the second part of March, quite early in April, we already got word that a lot of international students and other internationals were feeling isolated. They didn't find the information they were looking for. They couldn't reach out to others, and so we took it upon us together with some other organizations to introduce the Corona portal on our website with all the information needed for people to be able to get in touch with peer groups, but also with good information and English information on healthcare, the latest news on the pandemic, on the regulations. So that's something that, together with other partners, of course, with Brainport Development, with the TUE and others, with Express Files Initiative, that we initiated, and we saw a lot of people making use of that portal. And later on, now we had a session on We're Not Alone. Now we have the We're Not Alone newsletter coming from that Corona portal with a lot of information, not only on the pandemic, but also on other things that are going on, highlighting companies, highlighting internationals in our region, to make it more inclusive, to make to get the word out that it is very cool, nice to be part of this this community, to be able to work here, to be able to have the next phase in your career, not only as an employee, but also with your family here in the Netherlands, in Brainport Eindhoven, and share it with others, so we can tap into that energy. So that's important.
Exactly. And like I said, the Holland Expat Center, what we experienced a little bit from ESI and also living in perspective, you took the role of speaking to the larger international community in the time of crisis. In around March and February, there was a bit of a confusion as to how to address and who to address and what to address.
Sure.
But
Sure.
Holland Expat Center kind of took that role of as a responsible organization which speaks about it, does something about it, made information available, and that kind of triggered the whole series of responses till today, which are very positive, proactive, strengthening that message of we are not alone. So it has been a very inclusive experience in spite of the crisis, I would say. And on that note, the Living In program, the Corona crisis also made it very clear that it's not only the family emphasis that Living In program has always had, that migration is a family strategy, talent move here as a family, became all the more apparent during the crisis, even now, when there is a real blurring of work and home. And it's very hard to kind of take out your talent from the family now, because it's all mixed up in you're working from home and home's your new work. What's your opinion, Ed, on inclusion as a topic, how it's evolved in the last few months?
I see a lot of benefits of the pandemic as well, because now we are even more confronted as Dutch, as locals and international newcomers with the same challenges. You are home educating your children as well. You know what it is to have kind of a double working day, not only your own work, but also home teaching the children. And I think that when we talk about inclusion during the pandemic, it's all about solidarity. And we recognize more and more that we have the same needs as human beings, not only local, but also international. And in my opinion, there is even more room to connect, even though we are working from home and disconnected from social areas. I still think that the ground or the soil is very fertile to make new connections. And so inclusion for me also, and that has also to do with the pandemic, when we go to the dance again, it's not only about creating all the settings for people to be able to dance and inviting them. It's also about, for us locals, and that's what I want to ask the audience, to let those international talents help you to learn new dances, to help you with internationalization. Because you can, of course, think of solutions yourself, But our big success, I must say, in our collaboration is that we work together and that we stay close to the needs. And in the same time, we use the talent, we use your talent to create solutions. So in my opinion, when you talk about inclusion, if you really want to develop your company or your organization further, also make use of the talent to help you with internationalization.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, speaking from my end, we would not have been able to address things and mobilize the topic to the extent that we have if we didn't have support top down from a strategic level, if there is no intent in place. And like many experts discussed today, you really need both. You need a top down strategic approach, a really committed resolve to engage internationals, and a bottom up participation to contribute to the new place that you are in and to make it better because you're here. Uh, on that note, maybe a last word from all of you. What, according to you, would you say is the promise of Brainport region, the promise of Eindhoven, Brainport Eindhoven? And maybe starting with Ed again.
The promise for me, and that's my own experience as well, we have a very big and interesting history on triple helix, on collaboration. If you have an idea in this region, there is always someone who wants to hear you out or refer you to the next one who can help you further. And I think that we changed the triple helix basis towards a multiple helix because we include the target audience in creating solutions. And for me, that's the big promise. And also what I get out of today, there is so much awareness. And for me, it's quite clear that only with awareness, people are able to come out of the comfort zone a little bit and take action. So the promise for inclusion is very much what happened today. And more people, and that's our job as well, to find the front runners, to find the people who have already the right mindset and who are willing to take action.
Exactly. What would be your what do you see as the promise, Chris?
Well, I think the Brainport Eindhoven region will become even more internationalized the coming months and years. We can see already now the figures of internationals flowing in each month picking up again. Of course, there was a crash, as you can say, March, April, May, June. But now we already see it picking up again. And so the promise is that our employers in our region will further strive to pick up with the internationalization within their companies. And we will help them to facilitate that with the things that I already mentioned. What I take home from today is what you said already, that it is both leading by example. So we need people in the top of companies and organizations to lead by example and say that and act like upon it, that inclusion and diversity is a very important thing. But we need the small projects as well to kickstart it within those organizations. So I think both ends are necessary. And to conclude, I heard the alderman say this morning that the gemeente Eindhoven, they think that inclusion, diversity is very important, not only within their own organization, but within the city. I think that's true. I also think that it's too easy to just spread the word or to put words into policy. Action should follow. And on that note, I think it's important that we, for the coming years, can continue our collaboration with other organizations in our region. The Living In program is one of the pillars of that. So that's my hope for the future, that together with the international community, we can do more good for inclusion and diversity.
Thank you for that, because that shows, you once said, a political will and commitment to this topic, and really appreciate that. So the final word to you, Richard.
Oh, wow.
In the
To put up the pressure.
dance metaphor really
Yeah.
caught on. A lot of people saying, let's keep dancing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they had a good time at the event, etc. So
yeah, my promise for the future on diversity and inclusion for our region is that we strongly believe that diversity drives innovation, and that will be a necessity for our region to keep on being successful as a region in the next coming years. Let me explain shortly, briefly, is that our region, Brainport Eindhoven, is the technology hotspot of Europe, even the world, I think. And that's because we are very good at using technology to help solving societal challenges and to contribute to that. And we can only do that now and in the future with creativity and innovation. And we see at companies, and companies tell us that when they work with multinational diverse teams, they perform better in creativity and innovation. So if we want to, as a Brainport Eindhoven region, help solve society challenges in the world, we have to be diverse and inclusive, because, like I said, we strongly believe that diversity drives innovation.
yeah.
So keep on dancing, I would say.
It's easy. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. We see a lot of thank yous in the discussion as chat as well. Today was great. It's a great start. There is still a lot of distance to go, but of course, what we have working here, especially what we discussed today in this collaboration, where the whole value chain is addressed, a lot is possible. There is a promise. There is reason to look forward to, and we are looking forward to going on that journey as well. I want to take a moment to thank all the participants of today's event for making it such a big success. Also the team who was behind the scenes, made everything work and make it such a exciting event for us on this scale, on a digital scale. And I really want to thank Living in Program, Ed, Chris, and Richard for making this event as the joint HR series, reaching more people, more companies. The scale of people we were able to reach today would not have been possible, again, if it was not a cooperation and an inclusive effort. So on that note, and I'm sure we'll have more opportunities to talk again. Let's sign off for the weekend, I guess, and happy dancing.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.